Hello, world. My name is Benjamin Spatos, and welcome to the Music and Mental Health Live discussion. These are a few discussions we have online to try and build a bridge between the mental health sector for a very long time, and especially in the northern region, we've been battling mental health challenges, and we don't know how to speak out about it, or we rather don't want to speak out about it. We what's the term? Um, we cower away. And I don't say this because of other people. I say this because of me as well. I've been a victim of not being able to speak up about what I've been going through. And it's because of the very fact that people don't know how to be welcoming when it comes to mental health issues. People will either laugh at you when you tell them, oh, I am depressed or I'm having anxiety disorder, or, they'll call you less of a man, or, all those kind of things. So we are having these discussions online so that we can try and clear negative energy around mental health issues, mental health matters. We want to make it possible for people to speak up and open up about the kind of mental health challenges they are facing, or the people that are close to them that are battling these challenges, and create for them a way, not create, rather suggest to them possible ways to solve some of these mental health challenges. So today on our fourth session, we have Geoffrey Oryema, aka The Message, and he's a yoga expert who has been, practicing yoga for quite a long time. We just want to, during this discussion, we just want to learn more about yoga and then benefits, for our mental health. So Geoffrey, you're welcome. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about what you've done, who you are, and what you're currently doing.
Thank you so much, Benjamin Spatos, for this amazing opportunity and platform. My name's Geoffrey Oryema to everyone watching us or is part of us. I'm a certified yoga instructor, physicalness, and mental well-being specialist based in Gulu. Yeah.
Okay. It's really amazing, I've had a lot of testimonies from people about the positive impact of yoga practice, the yoga exercises. I've not been part of any yet, but I've been for diabetes event where, and people talk about this session to lift up their spirits, to ask them their minds, and I just would love you to talk, more about the benefits of yoga towards mental health, and also maybe if give us a background of what yoga is as an exercise. Yeah.
Thank you again, Benjamin. Yeah, you talked about yoga and diabetes. Yeah, I remember we went to St. Joseph College, Daibi with you. That was an amazing project. Yeah, when we talk about yoga, it's a very diverse topic, and you cannot understand the benefit of yoga without knowing what yoga is. Before I go to tell you what yoga is, I'd just love to give you a clear reason as to why I joined yoga. It was because I was struggling too. I was depressed and I joined yoga after 2 attempts of suicide. And so I was recommended to go try it out if it can work. Yeah, when I tried it worked. And since then, I've not even had a single thought of committing suicide or anything of such. Instead, I've become a very mindful, a very aware person from the inside out. And then I'm using now the same skill to reach out to other people also going through, it could be the PTSD and, others. So getting back to yoga started like a long time ago, around 7,000 years ago. So it's an ancient kind of a practice started long time ago. And to me, I would define yoga as a union. Now, what do I mean by this? Because it is the integration of the mind, the body, and the soul. So when you talk about the mind, it's the mindfulness that emphasizes the focus on awareness and accepting the internal experiences without being judgmental. to your outer self or the inner self. So understanding your experience from the inside out, and not being judgmental. Often when someone is suffering from any sort of mental illness, it's because of a lot of judgment. That is why. So it has like techniques that it offers from a very trending, right now we are in a very new dimension of treatment. And yoga is grouped under calm. It's a complementary and alternative medicine, because like the specialists have proven they're still working more on it. Meaning, before you come for it, you must at least be given directive from the doctor or medical specialist to come for it. And so when you do yoga, your brain develops new connections with your inner self. So, and it also changes the brain structure as well as its function. That is, from its physical aspect, we call it the asanas, which help in strengthening and stretching your muscles that connect each and every part of the body. So your mental awareness and the conscious will be on what is happening in the body. So you realize that just from a muscle that is stretched from the body, it lines and run to the brain, because like almost everything that happens around you from the inside out, it's connected to the brain that gets affected so much. So briefly, I've explained like about yoga, and yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. Geoffrey, I'd like you to tell us about, say, are you offering trainings or classes currently, you or somewhere else? If so, then where can somebody get to be part of these classes, and what do they have to have in mind before they come? Yeah.
That's a very good question. And it brought me back to one thing that I forgot. Like in the beginning, I mentioned yoga being very diverse. It's broad. So there are different styles and types of yoga that emphasizes on specific things. That when we were doing yoga about diabetics, it was a specific style of yoga that focused on the diabetics people, or the people that have diabetes. So when we talk about mental health, there's a specific kind that focus on the mindfulness and mental well-being. So there are different types. And so we have our community classes, but because of the COVID-19, we temporarily stopped it until we feel okay and our space is okay and people can really abide by the SOPs. But that doesn't stop us from, it's even giving us a more capacity and ability to do private classes, especially if a person suffering from any sort of mental illness. In most cases, when it comes to a group, the style that they do in the class might not benefit the person suffering from mental illness. So this is why if you are given directive by a medical specialist, then you come with it, we can understand how to handle such situation. Because if we don't know, it will be hard to, give you something that will help you in your situation. So if such person come, we would give a special class, like sort of a private class to the person, so that, because that is one thing that we need to always be careful when we are handling, not just as a instructor or a specialist, but also to, you need a very good environment for the person that you are taking through the journey.
Okay. I have one more question about the different views that people have about yoga. How do you deal with how do you deal with such kind of, say, if somebody has negative energy towards, say, yoga as a practice? Is there any word that you have for them? Because I know some people think, okay, yoga is not good. So what would you tell someone to to assure them, whatever people are saying might is not not what is.
Yoga is like our daily life. It's just that we don't realize it. And until you do it, you won't know. It's about how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. So you cannot control how someone behave or think about, you or what you do. But you can control how you feel about it. So then if you can control how you feel or think or behave on a perception that someone has towards you or your practice, you're one step a winner. And then the next step should be, I've been faced with that challenge. It's a very big challenge, Benjamin. And I've always realized that just because they have very little understanding on what yoga is and how it really works, um, in most cases, they are told by someone with no proof that it is bad. But the simplest thing that I always do, I invite them. Why don't you come and try? If it doesn't work for you, leave it. Because then you can't force anyone. But
I thought that
also giving, if they are willing to know more, telling them about it would be really an important thing. In this case, I always love to use my personal experience. So yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. And for me, at least I have had people, and I have seen people who have had positive um, uh, feedback about what yoga has done for them. So that's why it really has been important to at least have you on this discussion so that people can learn more about what yoga is, and if they can, be part of the community. Um, so top of that, I want to welcome Eddie. I see you. I joined. Good to see you. Um, just found us was talking about Geoffrey was done talking about the yoga as a practice, and some of he also told us about what he has done so far. Um, so good to have you here. If you have any questions about yoga, if you have any questions about yoga, please leave them in the chat. Or if you want to maybe ask a question during the meeting, it would be fine. We actually welcome as many questions as possible. Yeah. So I was asking about the specifics of how the exercise happens. Does it can somebody do it from home, in the comfort of their home, or do they have to be as a group? The instructor. How does the exercise work?
As I say, the technique of yoga offers a very trending new dimension of treatment in various psychiatric disorder. But moving away from that, anyone can do yoga at any time, at any place, as long as the space is enough for yourself.
Oh, that's interesting. So meaning I can just probably get a yoga mat and then of course if I'm following the right instructions, I can do it from the comfort of home.
Exactly. And then people have done virus practice, and people have different background, tribes, and everything. So everyone is trying to relate it or understand it in their own way. Like when we started doing yoga in Gulu, the community here was not understanding, because it was like they're left alone on their mat to suffer, to try and, stand for themselves, jump into a post that they can't do well. So it was then a journey for us to find a very good approach that our local community can understand, you know. So we came up with partner yoga, which was a group work. So from there we started, you know, growing. We grew from there until people got used to it, and now other people are practicing, even in the COVID, without the community class.
Ah, okay. Kevin has a question for you. She says, how did yoga help you stop having suicidal thoughts?
Thank you for the question. It's from who?
Oh, okay.
Eh? Kevin. Benjamin, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. The question is from Kevin Aquero. She asked about how did yoga help you stop having the suicidal thoughts?
So like I said, yoga is big. So there's a tool in yoga that I did. It's called Vipassana. It's a mindfulness practice of 10 days that I had a noble silence. You focus on yourself. It's a sort of meditation. And it helps you to silence your area. You know, you be silent and take the journey instead of focusing on the noise around you. You focus on your inner self. That is your brain, you know. With me, well, it was hard. It was like taking a journey back, because if you close your eyes, you're you are off the worldly distraction, and then you are taking a journey inward, understanding yourself better. So it wasn't like it went in a day, but I did a 10 days of reflecting back, taking a journey backward. I took the journey backward and lived through the experience that caused me the trauma that led me to suicide attempt. But then this time I did it from a different angle, an angle where I could see that it's not a good thing. There's a way that I can step out of it. How many lives am I affecting? Is it gonna cause more pain, or is it gonna be the solution to my problem? So just holding on to that little thought that comes in questioning yourself, in the process of the question that you question yourself, that is a non-verbal question. It's a question that comes into your mind when you close your eyes and you're in a very silent place. You know, it's scary. A lot of people can't do that because you feel lonely in the process, but then guided by your mind. Even when you are in a very unstable mind, even when you are depressed, you will think through it and think through it until you find your way. You keep filling it out. You keep practicing. You keep focusing on the little things. One thing that you can focus on is your breath, you know, and then literally you'll start to become grateful for your what? For each breath that you take. And so when you do it, your brain cells, I said, it develop new connections with the inner self. So when you're developing that new connections, changes occur, you know, and that changes occur in your brain structure and how it functions, which will be resulting into a very improved cognitive skills, such as just your memory. It keeps the memory alive because it's one thing that you have gone through. Now, living it again will be from another angle that you can see it clearly. It's like putting it in front of you and then looking at it. This time you can see it from every angle, not like the first time you saw it and the only option you can see was suicide. But this time then you can see it with a very mindful brain settings. So in that process, it's strengthening the parts of the brain that plays a key role in your memory and in your attention, the awareness, thoughts, and then the language. When we talk about the language, it's not only what we speak. When we talk about thoughts, it manifests to our outer self. Awareness, it starts from the inside. So that can only happen when you do constant practice. And this is the same reason as to why the medical specialists term yoga as CAM, CAM, that is the complementary and the alternative medicines.
Okay. That was really very informative. I hope Kevin has got something, but if you missed out, this meeting is being recorded. You get to like watch it again. Anybody who's watching this on social media, by the time we upload this, please feel free to leave your comments, ask your questions, and we'll see how to have them answered. So just let us know about what you think about yoga. Have you practiced yoga before? Have you done the exercise before? What's the experience like for you? That does it actually help you and improve your mental health? So just let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel about yoga. And
Yeah.
any questions you have, we'll see how to answer them. Geoffrey will also
And
Geoffrey, you're saying?
and I was saying to add on that we are all aware that mental health is like the cognitive behavior and emotions, and then the well-being. So it's just about how you think, feel, and behave. I mentioned it. So if you're not careful of how you think, how you feel, and how you behave, this will affect your daily life, your relationship, even your mental and physical health. So this is why the journey of yoga takes you off the noise of the world. It takes you off feeling less, because in the
Okay, while Geoffrey comes back, I want to welcome all of you that have joined in. We've been having a discussion with Geoffrey Oryema about yoga and its relevance in contributing to positive mental health. And he's given really very insightful information, about yoga, from its importance, to boosting our mental health. The fact that it's an exercise that is recommended by medics, and the different practices that the different exercises that are done for a particular prescription. Or yeah, so it's really amazing, to hear about yoga. And I know it's something very new, or something very what's the term? It's a new word in our world, but having someone get to talk about it is really like amazing. Very good to have you back. I think you aren't done. You want to continue?
So before I was cut, comments were coming. Sorry, I lost my chats, but there were questions coming in. Can you bring it out, or can you ask me then? Because I can't see it.
Okay, so Kevin had another question. She said, "How can someone get started on doing yoga, and what would you recommend for a first timer?"
Okay, Kevin, like in yoga, there's no judgment and there's no competition. It's a journey from self through self to self, but with guidance from your instructor. So if you want to join a yoga class, it's just a matter of connecting with a certified yoga instructor, a trained instructor. You don't just go to anybody. That's why if you have not done yoga before, we don't recommend you to just look at videos on YouTube. Unless you're very careful, you might end up hurting yourself, because they don't have everything and they are not looking at you, to stop you or to guide you in person. But for beginners class, it's always good to have a physical class with a certified instructor, and all you need is yourself. Maybe if the instructor need any sort of payment, then yes. And also in Gulu here, we have now yoga instructors, around 4 now, who can help. So yeah, it's just, and there's a yoga WhatsApp group where you can ask every question and you'll be helped. for not just Gulu, but it's written Gulu Yoga Community, but it's open to everybody. If you're willing, you can join, ask every question, become part of the family. Yes.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Kevin. There's another question from Eddie. He says, how can we incorporate yoga in trauma recovery in prison and other correction centers?
I think this, it's all the same, all connected with the same reason we are here, music and mental health. We are talking about mental health. The people in prison or who are recovering from any sort of mental illness or disorder, they all need yoga, a specific type of yoga, I could say mindfulness, that helps them in channeling the problems. It could be problems, issue of any kind. And like I said, it's all connected, the mind, the body, and the soul. But for this case, it's important to understand your body at first, because in the process of understanding the body, the mind is already doing its work. So by the time you reach the mind, it's already working towards a certain a specific sort of practice, of which in this case is yoga. And until you cannot just go and give a yoga class to a person with a mental problem without knowing the specific kind of problem the person is going through. I mean, they are all problems, but of different kinds. So if you know that, it's really okay. So Eddie, the best way to help a person in prison is first to take a journey inward. So you let them understand themselves, how they got to be there. Remind them. A lot of people say yoga is bad. A lot of people are afraid of facing the truth, you know. So yoga helps you realize your true self.
I hope that answers Eddie. I think Geoffrey will be joining us shortly. Good to see you here, Ken, and everybody else who are joining. I hope this is really, giving you some information, because that's the main point about these sessions that we're having. That the importance of these discussions is to talk about matters in relation to mental health, um, not just mental health recovery, but then um, nurturing positive mental health, in our community. And like I said earlier in the beginning of this meeting, so many people are afraid to talk about anything to do with mental health matters. When you bring the topic up, people are either shying away, or people are keeping quiet, or people are laughing, or they are giggling to themselves, and because there's that assumption where people feel like they're immune to mental health challenges. You know, you feel like, okay, that is not really my problem, because well, I cannot get affected by a mental health challenge. But people are wrong, and the very fact that mental health challenges are killing lots of people, in our community and in the world at large. And to make it even worse, there are no statistics, there are no evidence, hard um, statistics about how many people are actually battling mental health challenges and how many are actually dying of these mental health challenges. So the advantage of some of the Western countries that is that they have more accurate data on how many people are actually dying of mental health challenges, or how many people are actually contracting a mental health challenge, um, uh, um, in terms of percentages, you know. So this online movement is looking at, talking about different themes or topics that are related to mental health. And Ken is asking, can yoga um, relieve someone from stress? Uh, Geoffrey is back, but I'm sure he mentioned that as well. But we can still, I think he can maybe, you can throw more light on it as well. Ken is asking, can yoga relieve someone from stress? Yeah, Geoffrey, all to you, back to you.
Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, we are still talking about how yoga can be incorporated in prison, right? Was that the question?
Okay, so that was Eddie's question. Yes, yeah.
So first, like the it should have a clear goal. The person trying to take yoga to the prisoners should have a clear goal of why they think yoga is very important. So if you don't know the benefit of yoga, they won't accept it there. You need to give them the benefit so that the authorities understand that the benefit will not affect the system, will not groom the inmates to maybe think of escaping or creating more problems. So Benjamin, I believe when you thought of having this session, you have also had an understanding and recommendation that yoga helps a lot with mental health. And so because it helps in pain relief and anxiety, it reduces the effects of PTSDs and then similar condition. That's the post-traumatic stress disorder, right? It boosts your concentration, focus, and memory. It improves your moods. These are simple things that matters a lot, you know, because if your mood is really down, and that is where everything starts. And yeah, it keeps your memory like young. You keep thinking, and you know, so these are some of the few benefits. And then how can we then incorporate it in the prison? We have talked about some of it. I've already highlighted some of it, but if you're clear with the interest or the reasons and the benefits of yoga, then the authorities will look at it and accept. So when you get there, it's all about the practice, giving them the right instructions, because you can do it for years and years and you won't get like good benefits or outcome if the instructor doesn't know what is handling. That's why before going to the inmates or to taking yoga to prisons, it's important you highlight the benefits, but also you need to point the prison is helping them a lot, right? They are taken to prison for a reason. So to them, it's a place that will change them to become better people. But in the process, their mental well-being is being affected. So if you point out problems clearly too, you'll get there. And if you know the problems, it's easy because you know the benefit of yoga, you know the problems at hand. It's only the approach you use. How will you approach that situation? It's different for every group of people or for any sort of disorder. It's different how you approach it, because you need to understand the people you're working with. You'll be having the skills, but if you don't have a very good approach to it, they will not understand. And so this take times. If you go and do it once or twice, and get disappointed, you don't give up, you keep going. And there was yoga I did yoga with Achire George at the remand home here in Gulu. So they were doing it. It was helping them, you know. And the type of yoga that I did helped me with, to control, to manage my trauma. I won't say it's totally gone. I know it's there, but it doesn't affect me anymore. It's not like it will disappear like bubbles. No. It's just that you have grown to be stronger than it. It has no power over you. It doesn't overtake you in any way. So the practice that helped me to channel my pain into something beautiful was first discovered in prison. It was first taught to the prisoners. And then it's these prisoners who came out when they did their time. They came out and what? Started practicing, teaching people from the outside. They were like, you don't have to go inside to learn it. We are out, we can then teach you. That's how the practice expanded until it reached me. So yes, we know the problems, we know the benefit. Next thing, use the right approach and teach them.
Wow, that's very insightful. Um, you actually have answered Ken the question he was asking, can yoga relieve someone from stress? Yeah, through your conversation, you have answered that, and also Eddie was hoping that this information can reach the right officials. We're definitely going to share this video on social media, and you can share this with as many people as you can, to whoever you feel like maybe wants to listen to some of this information, and maybe to some of these individuals that might actually be able to make change. But sometimes I feel like the reason as to why some of the things are not happening is because people are not talking about them. It's because of our mindsets towards some of these things. So if if we stand as one, um, if we embrace working together and unity, love, as I always put it, um, there's a lot we can achieve. But sometimes we don't need so much. We don't even need, the money. We don't need the guns. We just need we need one voice. I don't want to be political. I don't want to be political, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Benjamin, you remember when I said my line was when you do yoga, your brain self develop new connections with inner self. Now that process alone, if someone does, get into the practice, um, especially let's talk about the inmates. When they start to do yoga, I mean, before that, they had a very different mind setting. So when they do yoga, they will develop new brain cells that will connect them to their inner self. And from there, changes will occur in the brain structure and how it functions. So the
Wow.
result will be into a very improved cognitive skills and memory. So these are few things that people need to understand, that yoga can help in in all these aspects, because almost everything starts with the brain. Moving the hand to the right, you need to think, the brain need to work it out. So if yoga can then helps your brain in developing a new connection, concentrations, awareness, attention, thoughts, language, why not? That's why I said we live in the environment that we live in our daily life. We are doing yoga, but we don't know that it is yoga.
Yeah, thank you so much, Geoffrey. We can't stay for long. We scheduled this session for an hour, so we kind of have to end it now. But I hope that if anybody has any more questions or anybody has any more comments, check out our pages. We'll be posting the entire recorded video of this meeting. In case anybody wants to go back and listen to some of the messages that have been giving this video. And then, if anybody is watching this out there, I need you to know that if you're battling a mental challenge, it doesn't limit you from being productive in life. I'm an artist, and I've had of depression and I've had suicidal attempts so many times. You know, it doesn't really mean that okay, I got to survive this on my own. But then it means that you need to first of all acknowledge what you're going through, and then understand what's the best way of actually coming, helping yourself out. And the thing that our community needs to understand is that we can't do this on our own. We have to do this together. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining in the meeting, and thank you so very much, Geoffrey, for taking your time, to explain to us about yoga and its importance in mental health. Um, uh, so I hope to see you guys all in the next session that we'll be having. We'll be sharing more about it on our pages. So thank you so very much. Any last words, Geoffrey, maybe?
I don't have much to say. All I would tell everyone is be aware of what is happening around you and also how you think. Because in most cases, we don't know that we are going through a mental illness until it's late. So get into yoga practice, try it out, get a specialist. You can do this thing. You are greater than what your mind is going through. But it's only when you take a step, then you can win this. But thank you so much, everyone. One love.
Okay, goodbye everyone. Hope you have a lovely day, rest of your day, and hope to see you again the next time we have these sessions. We have these sessions twice every month. So yeah, check out our pages. We'll also be sharing this video on our social media, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook and Twitter as well. So check the video out. If you have any comments, please leave the comments. Geoffrey will also be seeing the comments, and he will be able to respond to any of the questions you're having about yoga. Um, so thank you very much.